You're the only power that can save this world today. You're the only power. You're the only power that can save this world today. Come on, lift your voice. Did anybody come to praise God today? Put your hands up, let's go. We in the motherfucking house.
something I want it, babe. Nothing on the water.
I just wanna feel liberated. I just wanna feel liberated.
If I instigate, I'm sorry.
Tell me who in here can relate. I just wanna. I just wanna. I just wanna. We in the motherfucking house.
Who they waiting on that? Who they waiting on that? Pablo. Who they waiting on that?
Yo, welcome back. Episode 2 of this new format, just hanging out. Our Thoughts Pod,
The greatest podcast in the world.
greatest podcast of all time that
Hey.
posts maybe 3 times a quarter,
Once in a blue moon.
once in a blue moon. But we like to come back with a lot, so we definitely have a lot. A lot has happened. We
man.
yeah,
Yeah,
we've
and
had
on that note,
yeah.
man, we want to sort of, one of our pivots into this podcast is just wanting to make it more about us as opposed to what we talk about.
yeah
And so, we want to sort of start our podcast just checking in,
checking in.
man. And we're checking in with you guys. Leave in the comments. We love reading the comments. So let us know how you're doing with life and such. But yeah, man, checking in with you.
Yeah,
What's up with you?
yeah.
A lot's been going on.
A lot's been going on for sure. Probably the biggest update. If you guys have seen me outside of the podcast on the internet, it's probably with the my day job, which was Secret Los Angeles. Quit that, so we're not there anymore. That era is over. That was probably the biggest decision that I've made in a long time. But for a much better position, a lot cooler of a job, something that I guess it's kind of more related to like the stuff that we talk about,
Dude.
stuff that we're actually interested in.
You're gonna be working with artists that we've definitely talked about on this podcast.
Absolutely.
In terms of like what's in our rotation and
Absolutely.
artists that we genuinely mess with. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hyped about that. So I am starting to work with like an independent record label. I'm starting on Monday, which is in like 4 days from now, the day where we're recording. And yeah, I'm just gonna be like making cool shit, basically. Just all around creative person for them, which is super cool and sounds very demanding, but I'm ready for it. I'm ready to kind of like lock in that way and stretch my brain and just like meet a lot of people. So that's been the biggest thing. Quitting the job was kind of crazy. I've been there for like 3 years and it was like my whole personality.
If y'all know, this dude was, and I say this respectfully, this dude was the face of the franchise.
I really
Very
was,
much,
bro.
Especially with everything that's been going on in LA the last couple of years.
Yes.
There's been a lot of stuff going on for better or for worse. Some good, some bad. You've been putting on for
Bro.
Secrets LA, which, I'm sure you've heard so many people say like, yeah, dude, I just saw you pop up on my feed
Every day. I heard that every day. Some of y'all too, like would send me videos being like, "This you?" I'm like, "That's my face, ain't it?" I'm like, So yeah,
And guess what? Luca just got traded.
I know.
You're the equivalent. It's the
I was
equivalent.
literally and if I'm basically the Luca of like whatever this is. But yeah, so that's been a cool development. Very, very, very blessed to have that. A new opportunity, a new job. So many people out here who can't get jobs. And the job market is so fucked right now. So super blessed. I think it just feels like a culmination of like years, bro. Like years of like so much bullshit. So many bullshit jobs I've had to do. So yeah, I kind of, stepping into a new chapter, and I'm feeling good about it. Had the past 2 weeks to do nothing but go through whatever that I had been putting off, because of work and just all this shit. So it's been an emotional couple of weeks. It's been a relaxing couple of weeks, but also it's been a lot. So yeah, kind of just the tip of the iceberg. From me there.
Is it a lot of it's a lot of, because you mentioned you've been doing nothing the last 2 weeks, but also you've been doing stuff in terms of things that fulfill you. Feels like I saw you've been hiking around LA, and you're about to head up to the Bay in a bit. So yeah, man, how much of this past 2 weeks have been like relaxation and making sure to like take the time to like relax, but also obviously you're kind of, I'm sure there's like some stress of like just how much life is about to change, man. And so how is like the balance of that been for you?
I don't know. Like I say that I did nothing, but I feel like I did a lot. Like not a lot of relaxing, honestly. I wish I relaxed more. Definitely a lot of stressing, definitely a lot of like anticipating conversations, and stuff like that, and thinking about what I'm going to say when I start, and just this here and that. And it was just like, like I wish I could have been like more zen and like shut out everything and just like, been okay with like doing nothing. But I definitely learned that I can't do that. That I can't just like sit and do nothing. At least not yet. So, but it's not like I worked on stuff, but it was like passion projects and like things that I've been just didn't have enough time to like sit down and really give them the hours. So I'm glad I did that. But yeah, man, it was just a lot of, I don't know, like convincing myself to rest and like reminding myself, like you specifically asked for 2 weeks in between. I gave them a 1 week notice at work, not even a 2 week notice, because I'm like, yo, I'm out this bitch on Friday.
PTO, it's there for a reason.
Yeah, no, I was just like,
for a reason.
I'm outie. So I'm like, all right, here we are, And so I asked for it, and I'm over here saying like, damn, I ain't doing nothing right now. Like this is not, so just had to remind myself like, it's okay. It's okay, because when things really start picking up again, I'm going to wish I had that time. I wish I could go back and be like, man, I wish I could just rest like I did in those 2 weeks, So I'm trying to like be very grateful and, cherish this time before things really pick up. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. First of all, hey, if you're go ahead and if you're streaming this live or watching this live, if you're watching this after the fact, after it's premiered and all this stuff, go ahead and leave some fireworks, some
fire emojis,
confetti, some claps for my boy Matt. Man, he's I think it's really beautiful when one of your friends gets to the point where they're doing what they want with their within their career, and it lines up with things you actually genuinely like outside of working. So, hey man, congrats.
Thank you.
I'm just excited for the journey ahead of you, and it's gonna be tough and rough and all this stuff and new. And
it'll be a lot of new and interesting stories that I'm sure I can hopefully share here and bring you guys along the ride for whatever this is or whatever will happen. But yeah, you never know. I might be some exclusives on here that you might not get anywhere else.
I will say we are trying to, we're trying to get more people up in here, more than just us two.
More guests.
We'd love to have some of our friends.
Yes.
Give some of their thoughts, and you might have something special coming in the pipelines very soon.
We have some interesting people lined up. So
yeah, man. So cool. It's been a busy time for both of us.
Yeah. What's been going on? What's been going on in your world?
I'm sure you've felt this way, but when you're going into a period of time and you're like, this is gonna be the plot's really picking up.
Plot is thickening. Okay.
We're definitely in the mid-season where like shit is going.
Yeah.
You know,
that's good. Things are changing.
Things are changing because, you know, I was telling you about this before we recorded of like, I'm coming out of a period of time where there's a saying where the sick man has one problem, the person who's healthy has 30 problems, you know?
True.
And I've coming out of a period of my life where I've only had one problem, which is my mental health and sort of all the things that encompasses and personal tragedies and all this stuff that just sort of put me in a place where I feel like I don't mean this, but I hope you kind of know what I'm saying in terms of like, I feel like there's a couple of years there that I kind of lost, you know, like I wasn't able to continue growing and progressing and whatnot, even though there is growth in that. But you know what I mean? Like years where I just didn't have the right priorities straight, or I just wasn't in good mental space to really do my shit how I wanted to. And I've done so much self-work and all this stuff. And now I'm here, I'm in LA and I'm here with you and we're able to do this fun stuff. And, you know, I have a job and it's been, and now the thing is, it's like, now we get to see whether all that stuff that those lessons you've learned, the growth that you've done, whether it sticks, and you're kind of like put up or shut up type time, you know? And that's new. It's all very new, and it's not like it's all bad. Like, you know, for example, I was telling you about a person I'm seeing recently, and that's like a new aspect of my life that is like, I kind of wanted to shut off and sort of dissociate from. And now I'm coming back to it and it's just scary, dog. Like, you know, it's just scary being in it. I'm sure, you know, if you guys have read some of my poems, you guys know like that part of my life is there's a lot of painted in blues and grays, you know?
Yeah.
And so now it's like, okay, like there's some good that can come from this aspect of life, and it doesn't have to be all scary. And so that's been so new. So it's just a lot. It's so, there's parts of it that feel so fake. And you know, that's not the right word. Not real. Just not real.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that this other person I can be this comfortable around this other person in this romantic way. And the fact that I can sort of start to look towards my 30s, you know, and like start setting myself up, you know, I'm not used to thinking that way. So, a lot of like sort of reevaluating life and values and sort of like what I want to do. And also like, but also like trying to live in the present, man. Cause like I was telling you, you know, the rent's due, subscriptions are due, the Adobe Premiere is due, the Netflix, the Disney Plus is due, the due is due, all of it is due. And then also like trying to eat out. I want LA, parking is crazy. And, you know, so it's very much, I know we've definitely referenced this song more times than we can count. Is definitely SZA was onto something when she wrote 20 somethings. Is like this is sort of and I think speaking to what you spoke on is like, I don't think, part of me feels like we're not supposed to have that ability yet of like just being able to be in the present and sort of enjoy it. Because I feel like our 20 somethings, that's like what that, like the ingredients are all gonna kind of hopping into the pot right now. Yeah. And hopefully if we take away the right things and stir it right, put the right temperature on it and, you know, do our part, then hopefully at one point we hope, I'm fingers crossed we can do it, man, because shit is wild.
It's wild, man. It's wild. I think, you know, your 20s are such a mess, dude, because like, and especially like trying to like be friends or like be around other people your age, everybody is going through such drastically different things. And like, it's just, there's no consistency. I think that's the one thing that's so hard about being in your 20s. And like, I actually saw like an interesting clip from another podcast that I really love with this like life coach, I think, or maybe she's a therapist or something. She was describing about how your 20s are actually like the worst years of your life, like flat out. Because people are like, oh, but your 20s, like that's your, they romanticize it. It's supposed to be your best years. And she's like, well, that's why they're your worst, because you think they're going to be your best.
The expectation.
The expectation is so high. And this is, I'll tell you the name of this podcast. It's, and you can't, okay, major pause coming up. Okay. So like generational pause. So the podcast is called, Therapus or Therapussies or something like that.
That's I thought you were about to say like a deep throat glizzy goat
deep
podcast.
throating with the glizzy gobbler. Like how to deepen your throat.
I was like, have you been listening to the Haktua podcast?
The Haktua podcast.
Okay. The what? The
Therapus.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Shout out the kid who runs that. I forget his name. I saw him once at like a TikTok event, and I was like, that's him. I was like, are you the Therapussy guy?
Therapussy, right?
Yeah, I said that really loud in the middle of the party, and no, I didn't.
You got escorted.
Yeah.
The night ended with you in handcuffs and dragged out. No, it's the name of the podcast.
I swear to God, like I'm not. It's not a slur. It's like, but no, his podcast is amazing, and he's an incredible host. He's really funny, but his guests are really cool. And he had this one therapist who was on there, and she was talking about how your 20s are so terrible because for the first 20 years of your, or maybe 19 to 20 years of your life, maybe up until you're 21. That's when you 21, 22 is when you graduate college. 21 years of your life are completely structured. Like you all show up to the same building at the same time every single day. All your friends are all the same age around you. You're all celebrating the same milestones at the same time, same birthdays. You're all graduating. And then you move on to college, and you have your cohorts, and you have, your clubs, and you have your majors who you're all focused, driven on the same exact task. And then you graduate college, and she calls it like the Great Scattering or something like that, the scattering event, something like that, where now everybody goes far and far away. You have people who move to New York. You have people who go to grad school. You have people who live in Japan now. It's everybody scatters at the same time. And then now you're kind of left like trying to pick up the pieces of what your entire life was. And, your friendships especially became a very low effort where it's like, oh, we're all going to be at this place anyway. I'll see you there. Just second nature where you're around people your age all the time. Now it's become an extremely high effort solo sport is how she put it. It became a group sport to a solo sport where now you have to be so intentional about your friendships and your relationships and everything. And then now you're paying rent, and now you're paying for parking, and then, oh shit, you got a parking ticket. Now you got to put that on. And oh shit, your rent just went up and you didn't get approved for a bonus this year. Like it's just all this shit starts to pile on, and you're alone at the same time. And it's like, that's why she's like, your 20s suck, because you have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
And yet you're expected to, and you're just thrown into the ringer. So yeah, like that really resonates with everything you're saying about like your 20 somethings and everything.
Yeah.
You're just adulting, bro. Adulting is hard.
And you're learning to adult, which is the toughest part. Cause you're like, oh, you hear about this from people all the time, but then you're like, oh shit, it's like actually doing it. Oh, it's always actually doing it is always the hardest part.
Actually, Yeah.
And how I put it a similar way, is like the maturing is sort of learning the parts from the first 20 years of your life.
Yep.
The parts that you want to keep that still serve you. But then also sort of being indoctrinated into this version of the world that is a lot more cruel, a lot more unforgiving, a lot more harsh.
You don't have a safety net anymore.
Man. And trying to see like where you fall in that, and also trying to make the best of it,
Exactly.
And yeah, man. I mean, while we're here, just curious, what have you found? Because a lot of our viewers are pretty young.
He's younger, yeah.
And I've been. We keep in touch, and I would talk to every one of them, every so often, whenever we'd during this little hiatus that we had, a year hiatus, which is funny to think about. Yeah, they're all maturing and growing up. So I'm curious, like, if you had any advice for people going into their 20s and coming out of college or high school and sort of, stepping into the great scattering, which is such a great, I love that.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know. Just be prepared for people who used to be a huge part of your life to potentially not being a big part of your life, or, you know, people who are, they might stick around. But everybody is on their own path now.
And for people you may not have expected to just kind of come in and
come out of the woodwork and,
oh my God,
exactly.
We have been going through parallel journeys and now we can sort of intertwine a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
For sure.
It's just expect to have people come in and out of your life constantly. And it's fine. It's not a you thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's everyone. Everyone is feeling that. And it's very rare to see people our age have like such a core foundation of a community that they see every single day and they do every single thing. And it's more than just two people, you know, that's very common in like high school, you know, in school, but it's like, it's really not like that anymore, or it won't be like that. And yeah, just expect to, like, if you want to hang out with your friend, you got to like basically schedule it weeks in advance on their calendar, you know? And,
oh God,
you know, I highly suggest getting shared calendars with your friends.
Oh God.
And, you know, but also your 20s are extremely important, obviously, for finding out who you are and coming into yourself. You know, I'd say the jump between 21 to 23 is crazy. Oof. That is like second stage puberty right there in terms of your brain development. You know, it's like, and when you develop, there's growing pains. This was like a thing I kept saying to myself for years, like from ages, 21, 22, 23 is like, I'm feeling these growing pains of like, I feel weird. I feel anxious. I feel like all these weird things. It's like, things become more and more complex and more complicated the older you get, until one day it's like you don't give a fuck, you know. It's like, I think when you reach like 40 something, you know, when you're middle aged, like 50, like by the time I'm 50, I'm not giving a single fuck about anything, dude. Like, it's just I'm like, bro, I'm here half a millennia, bro. Like, don't say shit to me, you know, don't try to sell me nothing, like don't bring up no Kanye at this point, like
oh,
subtle foreshadowing.
But
like, you know, but also like, don't be afraid to fuck up because you're only 20. Like, it's just, you have so much time. So it's balancing like the weight of the world and feeling like everything could crumble, but also realizing like I'm so young and like there's so much ahead of me. There's
room. There's margin for error.
There's still big margin for error. But just really be cognizant of who you surround yourself with, the type of people you surround yourself with, because that will become your entire reality. You know, there's no way for you to like get in this circle and then, the bell rings, I'm gonna hop to class, and then, you know, it's just that's your whole reality. So really choose your friends very wisely.
Yeah, you are who you surround yourself with. Exactly. For sure. Perfect. I think the only stuff I would add to it, I feel like when you're in middle school, high school especially, college a little bit, there is sort of an expectation of like what is cool, you know, and you're there's sort of like a status quo that you're sort of expected to integrate yourself in. But I feel like part of the great scattering is realizing like that what makes you weird is what makes you. You know, and I think
best part of you.
What I would advise to people is like all those urges you feel that aren't harmful. You know, like shit, I want to get into this sort of movies. I want to, you know, get into. I feel this strange calling to start painting, or you know, for me, it's been poetry. Like I think I mentioned to you, like in middle school, I won a poetry contest. And now fast forward, you would write little things here and there. But then fast forward to me having moved here. Even before that, actually, when I was starting to graduate and sort of prepare myself for like, fuck, man, life is about to life. And, you know, I don't know if I'm well equipped. So I started just getting into poetry and sort of really all it is, for all its intricacies and sort of the structures and stanzas of it, is it's really just storytelling and emotions and sort of slowing down those emotions so you can feel them. And I've sort of found it to be a saving grace. And, you know, it doesn't have to be, I think, on the one way that can be interpreted is like, these things are going to be your obsessions for the rest of your life, or these are going to be things that define you. But it's like, it's okay if they're just like 3-month long obsessions, like phases and chapters that you sort of dig. Like, yeah, man, just embrace whatever you feel called towards or nudged towards. Like, cause you know, it's similar to what you said about how your friends being important. Also, how you spend your time is important. That's another thing, is when you grow up, you're like, shit, like it's 3 o'clock. I got to do this thing at 5 p.m.
Right.
And, I got time to kill before that. What do I do?
Right.
I can.
How you spend your days is how you live your life.
Yeah.
Is what they say.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. So
type shit.
Yeah, man.
Oh, what I've been thinking about is, I think maybe I don't know if you read it, but I sent you like an essay, or it was like a study or something like that, about just like the state of like the internet and like content.
The Everlasting Now or something.
Yeah. It was
which
like,
we'll go ahead and link in the description.
Yeah, go ahead and link that. It's a very interesting.
You know, you can do your homework and
I mean, actually, I can like read it out too.
It's a really short essay. So yeah.
Here, I can bring it up. Okay, is this it? This is it? Okay, it's so short
that we literally just scrolled past it.
Yeah, okay, okay. The Never Ending Now. He said, by David Perot. I once attended a comedy show with a group of friends. Since the venue was across town, we split a SUV. I sat in the back. You know, all the way in the rear, where the seats get so narrow that you have to do gymnastics just to get back there. From the moment the driver hit the gas pedal, everyone was on their phones. From the back row, I watched my friends scroll their social media feeds with ferocious intensity. One thing stuck out. The people in the front of me only consume content created within the last 24 hours. No exceptions. I succumb to the same impulse. Chances are, so do you. The structure of our social media feeds place us in a never-ending now. Like hamsters running on a wheel, we live in an endless cycle of ephemeral content consumption. A merry-go-round that spins faster and faster but barely goes anywhere. Stuck in the fury of the present, we're swept up in the dizzying chaos that like leaves in the gale force wind. Even though on the internet, we're just one click away from the greatest authors of all time, from Plato to Tolstoy, we default to novelty instead of timelessness. We're trapped in a never-ending now, blind to our place in history, engulfed in the present moment, overwhelmed by the slightest breeze of chaos. Here's the bottom line. How can you prioritize the accumulated wisdom of humanity over the impulses of just the last 24 hours? Which I thought was interesting. Yeah.
Super powerful. I think.
What are your thoughts before I go into mine?
You know, I think what strikes out to me is we've seen that we've seen enough of it, and we've gotten so. We started to build out a precedent of like, all right, we can tell that at this period of time we're living in right now is so new and different because of the internet and sort of the virality of everything. Is like we're all trying to become a moment, and we're all feeding into a moment, and you know, and we see that in the music and the movies and the sort of in pretty much all of art has almost kind of gotten a little bit more perverse, and has perverse into something that is just this weird. It's very easy to get cynical about art, and so digressing from that, there's also sort of like a interesting aspect is like we always hear about living in the present, and we're talking about, but I think we've gotten so used to like living in other people's present as opposed to like what is happening right now. The sun is beaming down on me, you know, right? I'm feeling the wind. How does the wind feel on my we've kind of sort of we've gotten away from living our lives by living other people's lives and trying to, get so interested. And that's where you get sort of this parasocial relationship between people, where it's like their victories are my victories somehow, and I feel like there's so much in that little essay that speaks to so much of what is today's society,
right?
And when you sent that over to me, I was like, I just found myself thinking about it so much, and just applying that to just like what am I trying to get from? I'm really just buying time until until something captures my attention and back into my real world, But I would.
It really is that damn phone. That's what, like, our parents were right. But I think what I was thinking of, like, just how much the internet has changed from when it first was created, and it was like you had the family computer, in one place, and you logged on. It was a physical place. You just go up, you sit down, you log on onto your, Club Penguin or whatever, and
you watch for some Ryan Higa.
Yeah, you watch some old YouTube. You maybe chat with your friends over. I use Skype, or we use Gmail chat, which was kind of interesting. I don't know, maybe that was just us or something, but like we were really into that, or like Facebook and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, Facebook.
Yeah,
Farmville,
Facebook chat.
Run some Farmville real quick.
Yeah. So it was a physical place, and you just logged in, got up, and left. Where now everything is so accessible at any given moment. The moment you get in a car, an entire friend group is just, clockwork, just on their phone, and and it's like it's not like they're looking at anything of substance. Obviously there's like fucking brain rot is like, there's literally called brain rot. Like that's a real word now. Like it's in the dictionary. And
hold up, we gotta fill our quota. We gotta get the algorithm going. Riz, skip it.
Yeah, Kai Cenat,
what's up,
LeBron James,
LeBron,
Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us,
Baby girl.
Yeah,
I think we've
gotta hit that SEO. Try to get us trending in the algorithm.
Yep.
Yeah,
we know the game. We know
the game. Those discovery hits type shit, but. Yeah, no, it's serious. Like, I just think it's interesting because it's so true about how, like, you could go down a rabbit hole of, like, you could learn entire courses on the internet. You can learn, pick up a new skill that could end up being your job one day on the internet. But think about what you're really spending your time on the internet. Like, what are you really doing? Like, you're scrolling on TikTok, like, you're watching Mr. Beast videos, like, sorry, dude, you're just like not built like me, bro. Like you just, I'm on YouTube, like, gaining.
I was gonna say, but dude, I really love watching people rank things in top 10.
I really love like GTA commentaries, dude. Like I just have to watch them.
I gotta watch this dude make a burger at McDonald's for POV for 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Which is oddly satisfying, but also, it's just feeding it. I guess is just sort of like, we spend a lot of time. I think the general point we're trying to make is like we do spend a lot of time sort of disconnecting from what's going on,
or just wasting time. I don't know. Like I'm so aware of how companies and how like large corporations are trying to steal our time so often. Where it's like, if you. First, it was colonize their attention. How do we get their attention? How do we make this ad as loud as possible? How do we make this TikTok as engaging as possible? The first 1 second, you gotta get their attention. Now it's like we need to like colonize the way they think about the internet, the way that they even go to it. It's like it's just so crazy how they try and rewire your brain to feed into what they want us to do. It's just like that late stage capitalism shit that just like really makes my head turn, like just makes my stomach turn, because I'm like, dude, how long have I been, plugged into this machine, like get me out.
Dude. Okay. So bringing it back to something that we talk about, but also exactly what you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
I think about, I feel like I'm about to say a dirty word right now. I think about that Fat, Juicy, and Wet record.
Yo.
I know you said
that's what you're thinking about.
No, because I think about there's a part of me. I like dropped a video about it on PS.
That song. Talking about that song is a recession indicator right there.
Yeah, because we talk about what that song is. It's and sort of what that song represents. It's the lowest common denominator of what will, as you said, like just sort of jump out at people and be like, what the fuck am I? Okay, like I'm gonna, and then all of a sudden we're spending 3 minutes listening to this song of like, oh, it's bad, but we're spending our time on it, and the money gets there somehow, and then all of a sudden it becomes justified that a song like that, it sort of perpetuates the cycle of like, all right, like, yeah, you know, you artists can do their thing that sort of fulfills us and fulfills them and sort of moves culture forward.
Mm-hmm.
But then also there's it's sort of like, oh, we have to do the pop record where the lowest common denominator, the TikTok record, and the sort of
I just hate that you have to do things now, you know, like that you have to do this
because you think about
that.
why do we have to do it? To make money.
Yeah, it's all money driven. Yeah, it's all to turn views into ticket sales, you know, to turn comments into, you know, link clicks and shit like that.
There's like a term in wrestling, and talking about obsessions, you know, that has become one of my obsessions is wrestling. There's this phrase, you know, like all heat is good heat. If you're getting booed,
all press is good press.
Similarly, like if you're getting booed, if everyone's like, if you're getting shit thrown at you, well, that's great because you're getting their attention, and they have some sort of feeling towards you, and who knows, they might just, in the case of this song, they might just give you a stream because they're like, look how bad this song is, you know. And so sort of coming back to the central conversation of just where we're at as a society, I feel like we have gotten to a point where people are starting to be aware of how companies are trying to monopolize our time, and sort of like it very much is sort of we're living in a simulation. We're all just kind of pawns.
No, literally.
And so, you know, people, it's fascinating because we have these conversations. Like I put up that video, and people are just so closed off to the idea that, oh my God, Bruno Mars would never. Is just like, let him just have fun. But it's like,
I was like, bro,
thank you for proving my point.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. Like, you're part of the problem. Thank you.
Yeah. No, exactly. I think the whole aspect of like, I don't know, just companies trying to like leech into our minds is like so crazy. And the whole like simulation thing kind of reminds me of have you heard of like the dead internet theory, or like the whole conspiracy?
No.
It's kind of like, I can look up the exact definition, but it's basically that, where it's like the internet, everything at one point, I'll look it up.
At one point, our brains will rot enough to we're just like, we're just accepting of.
Everything is like, even if it's not even real, we're like, whoa. Okay. Dead internet theory is a conspiracy theory that asserts, due to a coordinated and internal effort, the internet now consists mainly of bot activity and automatically generated content manipulated by algorithmic curation to control the population and minimize organic human activity. Proponents of the theory believe these social bots were created intentionally to help manipulate algorithms and boost search results in order to manipulate customers. Some proponents of the theory accuse government agencies of using bots to manipulate public perception. The date given they give a date for when the internet died. They say the date given for this death was generally around 2016, 2017. That's so good. Summer 2016, man. Nothing hits like that. Internet died in the summer of 2016.
Shit.
Yeah, after Blonde dropped.
The internet died. It was all downhill from there. Damn.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That is crazy.
That is.
But like low-key parts of that are kind of true. Like bots, you know?
Yeah.
Like you see the new update on Instagram where it's like, do you want to talk to AI John Pork? You know? Like you want to talk to AI therapists? Like these are just like fake people that they're like flooding into the internet like nothing, you know? And then all of a sudden you don't really know. And then the rise of like AI generated images and like AI videos.
Shall we have that conversation?
I think we should.
Because as two people who work in...
I think we should.
I think there are way too many podcasts in the world. We do not need
this
to
one
hear
included.
About whether... Yeah.
That's it.
We're part of the slop.
We're part of the problem.
I feel like there is some sort of... There is a conversation we can have. There are conversations we can have where we that add some to, because we work in media,
Yeah.
you know, but also we really value art and art's place in just the world and the importance of art. So AI has sort of been like a weird discourse point of like the two things come together. Is like, it's really cool that you can make AI, I don't know,
anything.
AI Frank Ocean dunk on Paul McCartney. Like that's really cool.
Yeah.
But then you have the very purist argument of like all AI sucks.
Yeah. Never use it.
AI music generation has, you know, been a thing.
Yeah.
ChatGPT has made it as easy as it possibly can in terms of image generation.
It's crazy.
You can make such crazy stuff. So I'm curious, where do you place on this sort of spectrum of
Dude, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm so back and forth with it because on one hand, it can make my life so much easier, you know? Just the text-based stuff, not even generating images, like just text-based things and like getting, you know, like boring subject, but I was like doing my taxes today and it was like, I was like reading, I'm like, I don't know what this is. Put it in ChatGPT. Oh, okay, it tells me, you know, like, and like I can upload my document and be like, okay, you should fill out that, you know, like just very handy things where it's just like an incredible search engine and just yeah. And I use the voice feature too, where I'm like, if I just have to like talk this out, or I'm like, hey, I'm trying to say this to this person, but here's the context behind it. How do I approach this conversation through a text in a professional, but you know, and just like advice, and it's helpful, you know, but
I've seen people use it in terms of like, I don't know how to write this email.
Yeah.
Can you make a template for me?
Yep.
And all this stuff.
And people, you know, I have to send another thing when you get in your 20s, you have to send a lot of emails. I don't know what the fuck that's all about. You gotta send a lot of emails. And it's like, yo, like just write this shit for me. I'm like, how do I say get this shit off my desk, but in a professional way, you know?
Courteous manner.
Yeah, and it'll send it for me. But
hi, hope all is well.
Yeah, hope this email finds you well. It's just two chatbots emailing each other, like nobody's actually communicating. So yeah, like on one hand, AI is so helpful when you can automate things. I haven't done that yet, where like people are coding shit where they can automate parts of their life with it, which is crazy. And you know, I've also used it in art projects. I've never fully generated something and done nothing to it and been like, here's my art, like that. I've never done that. I've always done something that enhances something I've already created. You know, for my film Seeds, I wanted it to be this guy in a huge white vast room. I didn't really have that. I had a corner of a warehouse basically, and I was able to expand it, you know, with AI, and like it just brought my vision to life. And a lot faster than it would if I tried to do it on After Effects, you know? So in that sense, it's helpful. But then at the back of my mind, in every single inquiry, in every single ask I have, or generated image I make, I'm like, this, like they say one ChatGPT entry is the equivalent of like emptying like 8 bottles of water or something like that. And like, you know, like it's the resources that it uses and the like environmental impact that it has. Like, so there's like this weird guilt to use it, but it's so convenient. And I'm just like, I don't know, you know, it's such a weird dilemma. What I don't fuck with though are people who are 100% purely AI artists. Big, if you're only listening to the audio of this, big air quotes around that, artists, and they just like create prompts, and everyone's like, whoa, what's the prompt that you use? And they're like, I'm not telling you, little bro. I'm like, girl, come on. Like you literally just like wrote a sentence. Like it's not anything you need to gatekeep. Like, it's so crazy.
Microwaved some hamburger helpers and said like, nah, here's the thing. I find people like you real interesting.
Actually, that's like, bro, where'd you get that burger? The restaurant just exploded, bro.
A meteor just crashed down on the McDonald's.
The chef, The chef with the secret recipe, he just killed himself in front of me, dude. Like he's never coming
back. He's
just
got the JFK treatment, so I don't know if I can help.
Exactly.
No.
So that's where I definitely draw the line.
I see what you're mentioning was like, I've seen people make full scenes of like someone like a spy crashing through a ceiling,
right,
and sort of starting this robbery and all this stuff. And like it's
now with the latest update with the the Studio Ghibli stuff. Have you seen that? Where now you can like, I saw a guy remake the whole trailer for Lord of the Rings in the Hayao Miyazaki style. I'm crazy. Like, this is wild. I think you're not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah. I think they just took it off because they're like, what have we done? What have we done?
They're like, oh shit. So what does that mean? What does that tell you? You know?
But also the thing is, it's like once you open Pandora's box, someone's just gonna make a program similar to that eventually, and we're right back where we started. You know. So I mean, fuck.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think about it? Like, what are your opinions on using AI?
On using AI, I fall. Big surprise why we're friends. Like I fall in a similar boat with you in terms of like there are cool uses of it. The environmental aspect I think is the biggest sort of point for contention for me. I think I read this article really recently. It was like from an English teacher who was talking about how kind of like my class is dead. Like English is dying because. Look,
in schools,
in schools, like, okay, we have, say, 40 people to a class. I teach 5 classes in a day. We have a prompt. I put out a prompt, write about a song that strikes you, analyze it, da-da-da-da-da. Let's say 2 people in each class use ChatGPT. And I find it on whatever it's called, Turnitin.com. It strikes right away. Now I got to go to each student, go up to them. Hey, I know you use ChatGPT, and of course they're going to deny it. and then things are going to escalate. I'm going to talk to their parents. They're going to say, no, my little Jimmy would never use ChatGPT, even though I see the numbers right there. And so it has become a hassle, which I understand. Teachers get paid very little for what they do. Of like, damn, like. I'm sort of, there's like a sort of guilt in the article, and I'll put it in the description as well. Like, I know I'm sort of feeding into the problem, but so many people are using ChatGPT to sort of write this outline or straight up just write their whole essay. And who knows where English literacy, Lord knows media literacy is already sort of like, it's teetering, man. It's on the edge. If not, has already jumped. So for me, I sort of feel curious as to just expression, self-expression, self-identity. Because really all AI does is regurgitate things, you know, as you put, it has like the access of what has already happened into the world, and it sort of takes your prompt and what you want from it, spins whatever it has, and, you know, sends you on your merry way. But, you know, how culture moves and how society moves is from thinkers and movers and feelers and shakers doing their thing and sort of like disrupting the flow and sort of us analyzing it, forming new opinions off it. So for me, there's always going to be those people, you know, there's going to be purists, but where I sort of start to get a little saddened and cynical about it is, you know, the person who isn't exposed to, you know, art and the way culture moves forward is, and sort of all they know is like, I can just take this essay and prompt, throw it in, put in what I want, like the main points I want to hit, bam,
and that's it, and
I have it, and it's an easy A, and people will get by on that. So I don't know, it is crazy. There's that aspect of it of you know, I have done some exercises where I'm like struggling to write a poem. Hey, let me see.
What would you say?
You know, and it comes out interesting, and so I don't know. There are aspects of it, of that, where it's daunting. I'm still trying to process it all out. Actually,
it is a lot to process. I mean, it's changing so much every single day. There's just like some crazy new advancement where you're like, holy shit! Like, you know, with the latest update, now you can. The thing that ChatGPT really struggled with was like text, you know, and like now it has mastered text, and so now you can like fully create posters and graphic design artwork and just like, yeah. So that's a whole other aspect of it as well, as like people being replaced, you know, jobs being replaced.
Yeah. We've been seeing like
writers being replaced. Yeah.
We've been seeing in, I know Marvel has gotten some bad rep in terms of like certain opening credits sequences. For Secret
AI
Invasion.
generated.
Yeah. Where AI generated, and there's like
it's like, come
posters.
on, bro.
Posters, you're seeing like fingers get all messed up, and you're like,
like, come on,
you know. But it's gonna get to a point where like you can't even tell. Like, you know, now we
really
have
can't.
pretty clear indicators. But even that, like sometimes the show will pass you by. And
it's
like,
so crazy.
Oh, wow.
It's so crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It's like what am I gonna do now? You know, if AI can do everything. So I guess it's leaning into like your uniqueness and like what makes, you know, you is like so important right now.
And do the hard stuff. Do it
the hard way.
Pay your dues. Take your time in terms of like struggle.
Take your time.
Struggle with it in terms of like if you're writing something,
Yeah.
if you're an artist of any kind of medium, take the time to be bad at it.
Yeah.
The AI stuff, I know it looks great, but it's, like I said, it's just regurgitating shit we've already seen.
Right.
We want to see what you have.
Yeah.
I think that's like the main point. I think we want to hopefully come away with it is like as much as hopeless and cynical and as tired as we are, just keep being you and you know, struggle with it, do the thing, do the hard stuff,
right?
And feel, what was it? There's a saying, it's like feel the fear and then do it anyways. Do that.
I like that.
Yeah, man. So do you want to talk about Kanye West crashing out?
No, I don't, dude. I mean, that's a sad situation. That whole thing.
Oh man,
is a sad situation.
I think what we do want to say about it is we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
We don't want to talk about him on academics platform in a KKK.
Yo, put up the clip where he just like mid academics like talking to him, he just turns around and farts in his face. I think that's summarizes the entire interview, because I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, bro.
And we're getting 5 parts apparently to it. We're getting part
There's
2,
more?
3, 4.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're getting, this isn't it.
Academics, bro, so fucking shameless. So shameless.
I hate that guy.
He's
I
slimy.
hate him so
slimy.
much. Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is just like, this might be like top 5 worst crash outs post divorce, like publicly, that we've seen. I think Elon's definitely up there.
Elon's definitely up there.
Elon bought Twitter because of Grimes.
yeah.
Literally spent $44 billion because she broke up with him. I don't know, man. He's just like, it's just kind of insane, you know, like how far he's gone and nobody is like trying to help him. And I mean, understandably so though. Like, he'll flip flop on all his friends.
Yeah.
From one day to the next. Like one day he'll be like, Kendrick sucks, Drake is the best, and then the next day he's like, oh, actually Kendrick is the best.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like, oh, I'm co-signing Tyler, he's best out of LA. Oh, now Tyler's never made a good song. Like, you know, so I think his bipolar is flaring, you know, like crazy, and the gas is not helping. The nitrous, and I don't know, dude. Kanye has somehow embodied like everything that is the worst of like culture right now. You know, the right wing, white supremacists, you know,
grifting,
Nazi shit, you know, and then just, I don't know,
saying shit for a reaction.
Yeah, purely reaction, just pure hater.
And then if he even gets to this point, saying some crazy shit and then, you know, apologizing, seeing the backlash. Oh, okay, maybe I didn't mean that part, just for the, you know, the views. So I'm with you. I think I just I feel like, yes, we acknowledge there's something there mentally that it's some mental health problem that, you know, is concerning, but also at a certain point, I have to ignore it. I have to just not pay attention to it anymore. And not, again, and calling back to our conversation, giving it any sort of time of day,
No.
Nowadays with Twitter, you can see the views on the tweet.
Yeah.
Giving it any sort of time of day, I feel like is sort of feeding into it. So I've gotten to a point where Kanye, and I think is supposed to be the general thesis of this segment, is I'm just not gonna give it the time.
No, just scroll past.
The value of my time.
Yeah.
Your time.
Yeah.
I think on that note, we're just gonna end that whole conversation here and just be like, Kanye, bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
We love I like Donda. If that was your last album, or that's like
that should have been your last
the
album.
farewell letter we got, then I would have been happy with that.
Yeah.
But here we are, and I'm just gonna ignore Kanye. Kanye passed in 2020. What we have right now is Ye.
This is a clone or something.
Yeah.
This is an evil twin or something
Evil
that was
twin.
spawned after Donda. Speaking of Twitter though, did you see this was maybe last week? The morning routine guy. That is the I think that has officially the most views on Twitter ever.
Whoa.
It has 500 million views. It has 500 million views on that video. You've seen him though, like
I've seen him.
Yeah.
I've seen him. Okay, let's slow it down. How this man goes from it's like 3:40 a.m. I'm up in the morning. I'm doing push-ups.
Takes off the tape on his mouth.
Takes off the tape on his mouth because he's scared the voices in his head
Yeah,
to scream.
what? Like-
and then he'll dunk his head
Dunk his head
in
in the
bowl
ice.
of water. Yeah.
Which, granted, that looks like it feels really good.
No.
You
That
know,
part I don't hate on.
I actually would be totally down for that.
That looks
sounds
really
amazing.
incredible.
Um,
But then he 4 o'clock goes up on the patio. He looks out into the water.
Yeah.
Drops down, hits a squat, hits a twerk real quick.
Twerking at 4:30 in the morning. Yeah.
And then does all this stuff. Eats a banana, rubs on his face.
Rubs on his face.
Okay, cool. Go.
All right.
Suits up, goes to the gym, hits the pool, jumps up in the air, stays there.
For 4 minutes. That's my favorite part. 4 minutes suspended in air. Took him 4 minutes to jump. Actually, my other favorite part is the very beginning, where you see him walking out his balcony to the sliding door. It's like 4:30 or 3:30, and then 3:31, he finally gets out there. I'm like, took you a minute to walk from inside to outside. He's like, I gotta really take in this moment. Yeah. Bro, okay, yeah. So he's suspended in air for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And then dives.
Hits the water. Yeah. And
hits
then
the koozie, goes in there, gets out, showers, puts on his suit, hops on his Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Talking to nobody for sure. Nobody on the end of that call.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if it was before or after this, but he takes out a journal.
Oh yeah, writes for exactly 3 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you accomplish in 2 minutes of journaling? Name, date, title.
Dear journal.
Dear journal, today is a good day. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling that.
I twerked this morning at 4:30. 4:30 twerk session.
That's it though.
That was
all you can really do.
I rubbed some banana on my face. Oh, and that's it.
And apparently he then puts the book aside and then I think enters that Zoom meeting with nobody there.
Nobody there.
And talks with all his demons and
No, he's like, that was so funny, bro.
Yeah.
I quoted that video for so long. Just like, oh, you know what? We gotta get to at least 10,000, bro. Like we gotta at least get 10,000. 10,000 what? We don't know. We don't know.
I'm thinking. So I showed that video to a friend and she was very much like, that's good that he's taking care of himself. But I think where I get lost in translation is like the sort. It reminds me of that dude that you see that dude. He like takes a video of himself parking at a Target.
Yeah, that
and
guy.
then
he sets up the camera.
Sets up the camera. He shows him like watching
the Target
game.
runs.
Him watching a Celtics game. He's like, yeah.
So what's crazy is, that guy hadn't posted in a minute, right? This dude comes on the scene with the most crazy morning routine. That dude's posting again. He's like,
challenged?
Oh yeah, he's like, you're not about to outdo me. And so now he's doing it, but times 10. Where he's like, where the weird part about the first guy's video is like, there's like this faceless woman that like makes his breakfast and shit. I don't know. He's time to twerk at 4 a.m. But he can't make like eggs and bacon. So he has this like faceless woman server. And now in the other dude, his rebuttal, he has like this woman who like untucks him from bed and like bows to him and like, good morning, sire.
Good morning, sir.
Like here's your bowl of apples. You know, it's what?
I think we're about to get the biggest beef of 2020.
Yo, now it's like I'm seeing people having like
content wars,
routine offs on Twitter.
Oh shit!
They're having morning routine offs on Twitter. I'm like, what are we doing?
Are we about to get okay?
So maybe I need to make one.
I know.
I think we need to make one.
For me, it's like get up an hour before I got to get to work. Look at be like, oh shit, I gotta get to work. Run into the shower.
Yo, I've seen like the anti versions of it where he's like gets up 12 p.m. for like 12:01 hits Geek Bar.
Yeah. Or it's like totally random shit. It's like 4:05, do push-ups. Like I'll hit the shower, come back at 6:05, same clip of him doing push-ups, and then he's like on the plane. At 7:30, getting arrested at 8.
Somehow he's on a cruise at 9.
Yeah,
it's
meeting
like what?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson at 8:30 a.m.
Those are my favorite, bro. Have you seen the video of the guy where he's like, this is my my weekend living in Chicago as a 23-year-old, and it's like progressively gets like you're like, wait what dude, maybe we should watch it. It's so funny. It's like it's all a meme, but it's like actually my favorite video of all time, and we can put this on.
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
like a little little reactions segment.
Dude, he's amazing. Here we go.
This is my weekend as a 28-year-old living in Chicago. Started my day off with a guru and making my bed. It was mental awareness day at my company, so I got brunch with my friend Lizzie and had a few drinks. Then I met up with Devlin and we kayaked the Chicago River. It was actually pretty dope. Priscilla had never been to the Field Museum, so we had to check it out. And we headed to El Paraiso for some drinks and vibes. The tacos were scrumptious.
More drinks.
We also got a margarita tower, so yeah. After that, I had to to the shop to get a new transmission. Then I came home and just chilled a little before going to see Bill Maher at the Chicago Theater. He absolutely crushed. After the show, I met up with Lindsay Jacobellis and her sister Malmo for tequila shots and yet another Marg Tower. We went to Rind for their stuffed pineapple, which was absolutely to die for. And their snow crab was pretty good too. Beers at Brow Brow in Tomlin Square with Jake, Ben, and Jordan. My friends are the craziest. More drinks. Then we went to Rosemary for small bites, and somehow we ended up going to Medieval Times.
Somehow.
I don't know. The rest of the night was kind of a blur. Woke up Saturday and took lunch for a waltz. We found cicada skin and I tried to get him to eat it, but he didn't. Another guru, then a much needed pork chop from the Golden Rosie invited me to go to the Museum of Ice Cream, which was actually pretty dope. So precious. Then we got hungry, so I made pesto aioli to put on some Italian ogies. After a couple rounds of Zathura, we went to the world's largest Starbucks, then met up with Kenzie and Marvin at the Museum of Ice Cream, which was
again at the Museum of Ice Cream.
Got a Marg Tower,
twice a Monday.
Had a dessert
Another Marg Tower.
Another Marg Tower.
And then we got hungry.
Back to the Museum of Ice Cream.
Me and Jira had reservations at Heidsieck for their Alpana, and then got Londo at Tanta, which I highly recommend.
What?
Pretty wiped, so then I just chilled. Met up with my girlfriend Darla at Legoland, then caught a rooftop movie with her friend KP, and stopped at Target on the way to Bobo for drinks. Then stopped at Target before going to Cafe Menu on the East Loop for Georgina's 45th. I got the number 6, which includes pizza, salad, stir fry, and pasta, which I highly recommend. Tyler had an acoustic set at the Plunge Hole, so I stopped by that, and then went to Ben's performance at a dope garage in Roscoe Village. Then it was time for dinner at D'Angelo's, where you have to get the cheeseburger.
The longest weekend.
I got us a pair of Marg Towers that I
another Marg Tower.
And then had a
2 of 3 of them. It looks like guitar online, and then watched Trumbo for like the billionth time. Woke up on Sunday and did some days in Pilsen with Allison Peckler. My wife and husband thought it'd be a good day for a hike, so
my wife and husband.
Did that. After that, I ranked every girl I know on a scale of 1 to 10 and wrote apology letters to the sub-4s. Yet another Marg Tower. Went on a hike with Aaron, then friends gave me Elena's condo, and we played some VR and made hot dogs and saw a comedy show and saw a comedy show.
I don't like the way they made hot dogs.
I guess that was my weekend.
I guess I was like, you know what, guys? Everything we said in the first segment was a lie. That is what your 20s are like.
That's
and
what it's
so
about.
Fun.
It's about 24 margarita towers in the span of 48 hours. It's about Londo at Tanta. It's going with your husband and your girlfriend.
And your girlfriend
going with
and your wife.
with your wife's boyfriend to go skiing.
Going to your with your friend group to the same museum in the same weekend.
3 days, 3 times in a day. Yeah, and another Marg Tower.
That's beautiful. See, that is someone that's not succumbing to the never-ending now. That is someone that's living their life.
They're living their life to the fullest. And not once did they doom scroll all weekend.
Nowhere did they say.
Maybe they're living.
And then I doom scrolled for 2 hours.
Nope. He watched Trumbo for the billionth time.
You must simple.
I love the.
It's a great film to sort of obsess over. Sure.
And I love the. I ranked every single girl I've dated, and then I wrote apology letters to the sub-4s. Crazy.
Hey, Maurice. So I didn't. Like, what does that letter even look like?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about you the other day.
Yeah.
But not in a way that I think you'd like. I was ranking women in my head, and I think
Unfortunately, you're a sub 4.
Yeah,
I'm
unfortunately.
really sorry about it.
I refuse to go into depth, but I do want to apologize for that thought popping in my head.
If you want to meet me at the Museum of Ice Cream, we can talk about it.
We can grab Londo Atonto.
Londo Atonto, and maybe I'll get you a margarita tower.
Yeah.
We'll
Maybe,
see.
just
We'll see
maybe.
how the weekend goes. Dude,
That's
those are my
fantastic.
favorite. We need to make our own, like one of those.
Yeah,
like,
let's do it.
here's my routine.
I'm so done. Yeah. You know what? Let's take you guys. With our Thoughts podcast, we want to take you behind our day.
Yeah, how we set up a podcast.
Yeah.
Start at 9 a.m.
Yeah. Start at 9 a.m. We
Yeah.
go to Griffith Observatory. We walk it. We
we think about our topics for the day.
Yeah. We dunk our head into the 14 bowls of water.
We get minor frostbite. Yeah.
Minor frostbite.
Dunking our face in water. Oh my God.
And then we grab some hibachis.
Yeah.
Just simply do all the rich people things in LA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's really what it means to be alive.
Anyways, that's do we want to talk about Purple Rain a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a cool experience.
That was okay. So I think we mentioned it on the last episode.
That's what we were doing.
That we wanted to do sort of like a retrospective on Purple
Right,
Rain because
right.
Hurry Up Tomorrow obviously coming out soon, which is fantastic. You saw the new little teaser thingy they put on CinemaCon and it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And
honestly looks really good. I'm not gonna lie. The second trailer looks really good. I'm like, I hope they cooked, because I'm getting sold.
I think
getting sold.
What fascinates me was that they really confirmed like, oh, we're going to see the losing the voice moment, and we're gonna see like literally him going backstage and flipping the fuck out, and like the people flipping out, and sort of the repercussions. It sounds like that's gonna be. So I noticed like in the trailer, the Weeknd's voice is all kind of like musted up. Do you think like
he's gonna like recreate it?
Like all the whole movie, like his voice is gonna be. It's gonna literally take place maybe days.
Oh, interesting. Maybe
after
like you think that's a big conflict is like he can't sing anymore.
the big Offset event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe because it seems like from the trailers like someone's after them, and like something's encroaching on them. So maybe like he's got mob ties or something, and it's like you gotta sing.
Yeah,
that's how we're making money. You gotta sing. He's like, I can't fucking sing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like running after him or something.
Can you do you have a favorite line in the trailer? Because mine is, "What the fuck is going on?" What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember. I think I just whatever Barry Keoghan said.
You just got to relax.
Yeah.
If you had the chance to change your fate, would you?
Oh my God.
So yeah, the trailer looks great. And we just
coming out soon.
Super excited. I think so. We are working on the deep dive, and I think we just might end up including our movie thoughts in there.
I think that's going to be a whole other aspect.
I'm telling you,
like you said, his Purple Rain,
and this movie. This deep dive is becoming a movie in terms of length.
Yeah, basically.
It's very much. You guys better not say shit about about another Weeknd deep dive.
I will never speak on the Weeknd ever again. After this video comes out, that is all of my thoughts.
That is all of our complete edition of our thoughts.
And I will never speak his name. You have my word on that.
So the hype for Hurry Up Tomorrow is building up, and we're like, yeah, we want to talk about Purple Rain just because it's the equivalent of, it's similar in terms of it's an amazing album that was then built up through this film, and you get the context behind it, and was really good. I think like the Purple Rain film.
Yeah, I think the lore behind it is funny, where it was Prince's response to Thriller, like the music video for Thriller and their whole beef, Prince and Michael Jackson.
Because Michael Jackson, he called his music videos short films.
A short film. And he's like, oh, I'll make a feature, I'll make Purple Rain the movie, and he did.
Have you heard that news bit where it's like Michael Jackson, he would never get sleep because he would be up just writing and like writing any thoughts that came to his head, and someone asked him like, dude, like you can take a rest. Like you've done so much.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, no, I can never. I don't want to let these ideas go because I don't want them to go to Prince. So I will literally drive myself crazy and run on 2 hours of sleep because I do not want these ideas.
Bro, the beef, that's so funny, dude.
It's fantastic. And so to skip ahead a little bit, there is a direct reference to Michael Jackson.
There is.
During like the final number. Yeah.
Towards the end.
He comes out, puts on a little fedora, does a little thing, and then he goes like...
And then he throws it
away.
Yeah.
But anyways, Purple Rain, man.
My first time seeing it.
Your first time seeing it, my second time seeing it, but really my first time seeing it because I remember I was watching it. I was like, I was sick and just chilling in my little dorm room watching it. So this was my first time really, and like half high watching it. And so really being able to appreciate it. And we watched it in like IMAX.
Bro.
Dolby.
The best theater I've ever been in, for real. I didn't even realize Dolby was like that, you know? I guess I've never really been in the Dolby theater, like the Dolby experience.
Dude.
But it was sick.
Big ass screen.
It was an IMAX with the recliners and like it was sick, bro. It was
big ass audio.
Yeah.
It
looked amazing.
That is how, if we're talking about what is the prime optimal experience for film, for watching a movie,
Dolby.
I'm so grateful.
I used to say IMAX, you know, but the thing is, IMAX is so loud. Like it's so loud. Like they bump the bass so you can feel it.
Yeah.
But if you're kind of close to one of the speakers, your ears getting blown out. And IMAX seats are not that comfortable, you know, because it's really big, trying to put as many as people. Dolby is like the best of both worlds. You get the IMAX screen, you get the nice seats. The IMAX sound is a little more punchy, but I mean, for something like this, it was great. You know, it was like I was at a concert.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, what did you think about the story of it? Like, because it's one thing to for, you know, obviously we've lived with Purple Rain. Do you remember when your first time listening to Purple Rain, really like appreciating like, oh, okay, Prince, Purple Rain, all that
honestly
stuff?
Like that's probably in like the last like 5 years.
Yeah,
you know?
same here.
Yeah, because of course I've heard of it. Everyone's heard of Prince. I've heard of When Doves Cry and Purple Rain itself. Like, of course you've heard of it. But I never really like sat with it. Yeah, like probably like 3 or 4 years ago. Probably the first time, and then after the movie, I was like, oh shit, like I need to really dive in. And it's so interesting, man. Like Prince is such an interesting artist. Like someone who just would not stop, you know, who would not stop creating because they couldn't. Like they were literally putting out albums like every week, you know, like just sitting on so much music, and like to see, and what's cool about that is like you see the progression of it, you know, throughout the years, where it was like, you know, I think I read somewhere like, you know, he started off with, I guess more like kind of funk and disco kind of with his self-titled first album. And then someone said to him like, oh, rock, you know, he can do rock, but he can't do a rock ballad. And then he made Purple Rain, and like now he's doing that. And then I was listening to Musicology, which is his like R&B record and like crazy stuff. So it's so cool to see like when an artist puts out so much music or just puts out so much work, you can see the progression so clearly. Him, I think of Pharrell, I think of Tyler the Creator, like Kendrick Lamar, you know, like it's all kind of there.
Yeah. And I think for me, what Purple Rain is, it's like how I heard it described was like, it's like the double apex mountain of Prince's career. Cause like musically, you know, I don't feel like I have like enough context to really like be able to say like this was his best album. Yeah. But it is fair to say that Purple Rain is like his most prolific out there album. And then also Purple Rain, like the film apparently, you know, it was a big hit. It ruled the summer that it came, 1984, I believe. Yeah. Ruled that summer. It was a big phenomenon. Seeing Prince. And what I love about the movie, it tells a good story. I thought the story was pretty solid. It's kind of ahead of its time in terms of like generational trauma and masculinity in Black men, and sort of like trying to sort of like giving nuance to it. You know, I feel like they were, I could imagine that being kind of jarring for people at that time. Whereas nowadays we see that sort of portrayal of a Black man. We're like, right.
I know,
Great.
super ahead of its time.
Even though there are aspects of it that we'll talk about in a second. Did not age well. It tells that story. And then the last like 15, 20 minutes, it's Morris Day in the Time and Prince.
Morris Day, man. He's so good in that.
We'll get to him in a second, but it's those two people just like putting on for 20 minutes and it's like the show, and that's what gives you. It's sort of, I don't know about you, but like I'm sure it was the same for you, where it justified like how grand the screen was and the way the audio had to be. Yeah. For me, justified how big the speakers were and how dynamic the sounds were, was because you're listening to Purple Rain, Die For You. I Would Die For You on, and seeing Prince do the just most flamboyant,
just insane,
bombastic moves, and he's taking up every bit of the screen.
Every bit. Yeah. He did. It was like his last performance, Yeah. I mean, the movie itself, the acting is pretty funny, like very dramatic, very melodramatic, but honestly, Prince is pretty good, like he was able to, and you told me after that a lot of that was based on real life stuff, so he's probably really tapping in to some real shit.
The scenes, particular with the dad,
with his dad,
were very,
and him and the girl, their relationship as well. So that was really interesting, and I was like, that's so kind of moving as an artist to like portray yourself as that, because it seemed it was pretty close to home and was based on real life stuff. And there's some like questionable lines for sure, and questionable I guess actions by men towards women throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, if I told you that in Purple Rain there was a scene where two men would lift a woman up
and
dump her into a dumpster, you'd be like, nah.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Low-key really funny though, but just the fact that they did that, because it was like, so it was the time, and he's like, this woman goes up and she's like, basically like, why haven't you called me? Like, are you seeing other girls? And he goes to his right hand man. He's like, you know what to do. He just lifts her up and dumps her in a fucking dumpster. I'm like, what the hell? Like, y'all have done this before?
It's that's like comedy. And so, you know what, let's actually kind of let's stick on the positives first.
Okay.
Morris Day.
Oh, amazing.
Fucking hilarious. Like, I would
iconic looks, iconic lines. Yeah.
Iconic looks, iconic lines. Steals every scene he's in. Just so funny. There's a scene where they have their I forget the comedians who did this, but who's on first, who's on third, like that equivalent of like, what's the password?
Right.
What? No, what? What
is the password? That's what I'm asking you.
Like it was its own little. If you watch that in isolation, it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
And he's great.
Also, he has a nice little arc. I feel like his character. I think, which was cool because like he was giving Prince shit so much throughout it, and then he kind of has a little moment, where he's like, maybe I shouldn't ride him so hard.
In case you can't tell already, we're spoiling the shit out of this.
Well, I mean, we didn't say why, but he has an arc.
He has an arc.
He has an arc, just so you know. But go watch it.
This movie has been for like 40 years
40
now.
years, bro. You can go watch it.
I'm going to give you 3, 2...
Spoiler. This is your warning, and go.
Prince's dad fucking shoots himself in the head.
Yeah, crazy.
And at one point, Morris Day, like you mentioned, has been giving him shit, and and then he comes up to him towards the end, I think right before the final performances. Or no, it was after Morris Day's performance.
Yeah.
And before Prince would go on stage.
Go on after him.
And he goes, how's the family? And, at a certain point.
Crazy line.
Everyone's like, we got him. Yeah. And then as everyone walks away, he has a little moment where he's like, damn, like.
I shouldn't have said that.
That's kind of tough.
Yeah.
So, you get that little moment of humanity for his character, which I think kind of rounds him off. Mm-hmm. I think it was a beautiful moment. And yeah, man, Morris Day apparently was high as shit.
No,
throughout filming that
really?
movie. Yeah,
that's
man.
hilarious. That's why it's so funny, dude. Because he's just on one the whole time. Yeah.
There's a scene where he's hitting on Apollonia. Which Apollonia, and he's like, "You want champagne?" It's like the most like doing the bare minimum, but he's like you can tell he's expecting it to work. He's like,
yeah.
No, I'll pay for it. Don't worry, I got you. Like, oh man, that's
I kind of work for the scene though, because he's like trying to hit on her and it's not working.
yeah. It's
Also,
hilarious.
I feel like we need to talk about the viewing experience too. The audience was hilarious. Like, a very, very interesting. Okay, so we're kind of in the back, low key, of the theater, because we want to get the whole screen and shit. And like, there's this dude who was behind us who he kept talking, and he had a weird ass voice. He had a really deep, but like kind of sounded like Kermit, Hey guys. Yeah, he was like he fucking loved Apollonia. That was his shit, bro. Like when she came on screen, he was like Apollonia. And I was, and then like her dance number comes on. It's like real scandalous. And he's like literally like gooning in the back. He's like, oh, we have gooning in the back.
And at one point, someone says, "Shut up."
Yeah, the dude next to us. Shut up. Okay, I love that he's okay. It was just funny that he said that because one, he came like with a full backpack and a full meal. I don't know if you saw that. Like he had a full dinner. And he's like chowing down, and he kind of smells crazy, bro. He was smelling like it smelled like a skunk sprayed on him, before he came in there, and he had the smell of whatever he's eating. And so I'm like I'm like, who is this guy? And then the Apollonia dude's over here like gooning in the back. He's like, oh, and then the skunk dude turns, and he was so mean. He was like, shut up. Shut the fuck up.
And mind you, this is I remember this. This is during the scene at Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah, at the lake
Minnetonka, where you mentioned before his obsession with Apollonia,
and she's full topless in that scene. He goes, oh yeah. He just goes, shut the fuck up.
I'm like, if you're gonna goon in quiet.
You're in the back, bro. You're in the back. Like he can still hear you. Oh my god, it was so funny, bro. Like top 10 movie experiences. It was like
4D. That was
4D experience. Yeah, because honestly, the movie's not too far off from what that whole experience was.
Yeah.
So funny, bro.
Yeah, that was
10 out of 10, dude. That movie's great. It's a great movie. Just take it as it is. Don't look into it.
Yeah. I think it tackles misogyny.
Yeah,
and again, we're talking about
and celebrates
cycles. Yeah, it's like
perpetuates.
Hey man, we're doing all right. Like, just
we're up.
Hey guys, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Don't change.
Yeah. But it's sort of I think there's an interesting discussion in terms of like, and frankly, I'm too tired to have it.
Yeah.
So interesting discussion of like it doesn't necessarily like enable misogyny.
I think it shows.
There are aspects of it that don't age well.
That don't tackle it well,
but they do
critiques it for sure.
They do try to tackle it in a way. So I hope if anyone watches it and they see this part, I don't want to spoil it for you because it's an experience, I think, on its own.
Yeah.
But Prince does something that you're like, oh.
You're like, oh.
Everyone in there, I think, in the theater was like, had that moment. We're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And it's jarring, it's kind of crazy and all this stuff, and it's terrible, but I hope it doesn't turn you off from trying to enjoy like the story.
I think the story gives a lot of context for that moment, showing like the household he was living in and his father being the only example of a man he had, So, but yeah, man, Purple Rain, amazing
go film.
Watch and then go listen to every album he's ever made.
Yeah Absolutely, man, absolutely. Purple Rain. I think.
Well, speaking of albums, shall we close out with a little rotation?
What's in our rotation?
Yeah.
What have we been listening to? Let's see.
What have I been listening to? I don't even know, dude.
Yeah, man.
Let's see.
So,
I recently played.
Okay, so. First things first, this album right here has been super heavy in my rotation. Hope Tala, Hope Handwritten. I was reading an interview with her. She said that her 3 biggest inspirations for this album were Stevie Wonder, Lauryn Hill, and there's one more that I'm thinking of that I can't. Stevie Wonder, Lauryn Hill,
Hope Tala,
and Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, interesting.
And I can see those three influences plus sort of just like this youthful sort of bossa nova, Spanish guitar type vibe to it, and it comes together in a way that's really good, and also I think it's actually like really fulfilling to listen to because it's definitely takes you on a journey of like a coming of age story and sort of the doubts of, you know, being in your 20s and being heartbroken and trying to put together the pieces to survive really in your 20s. And I found it to be really powerful, especially at a time where there was a little rut there where I like just wasn't listening to music, and then this album came out and I was like, oh, this is both bright and also acknowledges sort of struggle a little bit. I
like that.
Yeah, man. There's a couple more for me, but how about you? You got some?
I've been listening to, so Lil Sims is coming out with a new album.
Yes.
Yeah. Upcoming. I have it pre-saved.
Yeah, she had to push it back though, which sucks.
Oh, for real? Oh, what is it at
It's
now?
like June, some June.
Oh, it still says May. I hope not. But only 2 songs from the record so far, both fire. The one with I can't pronounce his name, but the song's called Flood. Really good. But I started diving into older projects. I mean, she doesn't have that much music, but her album Gray Area, her first album, like I guess first kind of studio album, really good. Like some interesting production on it. It's very like live instrumental, which is cool. It's hard. Like her bars are really good. Like my favorite song on it is 101 FM, which is a super fun, like, I don't know, it's kind of a bop. But yeah, she's like, I don't know, I'm like getting back into Lil Sims. I think she's really great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like both I think there's an album that's self-titled. Oh no. Yeah.
Sometimes I Might Be Introverted.
Sometimes I Might Be Introverted. Yeah. And the album, for me, the song that I keep coming back to, I remember the Who Even Cares from that, whenever that summer that album came out.
No, thank you.
That was just on rotation.
I mean, Gorilla.
Lil Sims is singing. And she did did you see that cover she did of that Gorilla?
Feel Good Inc. Yeah. She's fire, dude. And like the music video for Gorilla is like one of my favorite music videos ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lil Sims, getting back into her.
Probably my favorite female rapper.
Right now. Yeah. She needs to drop.
For real. Let's see.
What else you got?
I got so keeping on the hip hop vibe a little bit. La Russell came out with a really great vibe on Come Home Before the Lights Turn On. He's dropped like 37 albums.
Holy shit.
So he kind of rotates between sounds of like, all right, this is gonna be my like hard West Coast shit. He most recently did like a more poppy, sing-songy type album. This one that I'm talking about, Come Home Before the Lights Turn On, is very much like a late night, driving late night vibe, and you know, very much reminiscent of sort of just like the music I used to listen to and grow up and sort of listen to while driving. So yeah, man, that's one for me. What you got?
I've been listening to a lot of jazz recently. Yusuf Days is a staple. Absolutely. His album Black Classical Music is amazing.
Okay.
He also has a lot of amazing live albums. His like Live from Joshua Tree, Live from Malibu. Love that. But Yusuf Days, I think he's British or something. He also has some really interesting videos, or like short films, I guess, on YouTube.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Amazing. This album is so fun. It's not just jazz, you know, there's like Masego has something in it, and like, you know, there's rap, there's R&B stuff. But his live albums are sick. And then he's something with Tom Misch, which is cool. If you haven't checked it out, Tom Misch and Yusuf Days collab album is amazing. Cool. And then along that jazz vibe, just found this week by, I guess it's called Ezra Collective, but it's just kind of this Brazilian kind of jazz funk band out of London. And it's an album called Dance, No One's Watching. It's like it's like you're in like a jazz hall. I don't know, and it's like a summer night. It's like really sweaty, and everyone's in there, and it's like it just gives off that vibe. Like I feel like summertime, this album's gonna hit. You know, those summer nights, like it's just a beautiful dance experience.
The sun's been coming out lately, so I'm definitely in the mood
ready for
this.
it.
This is the right vibe for it. That was a good jazz run through. I'm gonna run through just some R&B stuff that I've been listening to. Just run through real quick. No Guidance, Confessions of a Lover Boy. I came out with a video talking about state of R&B and sort of like where are all the guy groups, the R&B boy bands.
Where are the boy bands?
No Guidance to me is the
might have to
premier boy band. It's making music that is fun. I think like B2K and that type of like vibe. Like music you hear at a mall and sort of man. It's like that's like the music videos. Like they're at the mall and they're like kind of walking down and and trying to like yo, excuse me, miss type vibe.
Yeah.
And let's see, an oldie, Prime of My Life, Phyllis Hyman. Really, I don't remember how I found her or how I sort of got onto her, but this album is really fantastic. Meet Me on the Moon, Prime of My Life, the titular song. She has such a beautiful voice, has such a soul behind it, and it's you read into her story and you find out like she's gone through a lot. Her like bandmates, I think at the time of this album, were passing one after another. So
damn,
Meet Me on the Moon.
What year did that come out?
1991.
Okay.
And if you want like an access point, just like super accessible, she does a great cover or like rendition of What You Won't Do for Love, Bobby Caldwell. So if you want to like sort of just like kind of dip your toe into it,
nice.
That's a great one. And one last one here. Ooh, I sent you guys this one. Bloom, Duran Bernard. That album is literally like the power of friendship distilled into a beautiful, however many tracks.
This looks beautiful. All right.
15 records, really wholesome, really beautiful, really nice. Each song I was reading an interview, he made a point to make sure every song 5 minutes or more.
Got you.
Giving you
at least a bridge.
Giving you a bridge, giving you, he's taking his time on verses.
I like that.
And also it's a lot of like positive affirmations, which I think we all are in the mood for. So yeah, man. That's what's been in our rotation a lot because it's been a long time since our first episode. So yeah,
hope you enjoyed.
I hope this was worth the time because I know it's I found it to be worth the time.
Yeah.
So anyways,
we talked about a lot. We covered a lot of ground. Let us know your thoughts, obviously, in the comments and all that shit. But we'll see you when we see you. If all goes well, hopefully this episode opened with a little DJ set by me.
Yeah, man.
If not, cut this out. But we're trying to do more stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I really fucked with that set, man. I think this is something that you could definitely like. I can't wait for you to be on Boiler Room. I think it's gonna be such a vibe. I'm super happy. But no, in general, these cold opens.
Yeah, we're trying to do more of that.
We want to try to, add a little something,
little spice
to these podcasts. So
the Our Thoughts experience.
We hope, we're not just lollygagging and doing whatever over here. We're we want to try to spice it up every now and then. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And on 3, we'll give a dramatic turnaround and end it on that. Ready?
1, 2, 3.